friends, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be me discussing some kind of advice, some suggestions, some gentle pushes that'll get you back into the groove of writing again in this video. I think that makes sense grammatically. I do have quite a bit to talk about, and we all know my ability to yammer on and on and on and on and on about a topic. So let's just get into it. First thing you need to do before you jump right back into writing is to acknowledge why you took a break in the first place. Was it because you were having mental health issues, life got really busy? Were you taking a break from your whip so you can get fresh eyes on it when you come back? Did you get writer's block? Did you get writer's block, Sher? Sherman's asking if you guys got writer's block. Did they? Did you? Once you figured out kind of why you took the break in the first place, you start asking the questions of, are you ready to return? Do you have the time in case you got busy? Are you ready to return? I think I asked that. Like, you're in the right headspace? Or do you think you've had enough time away from your whip to figure out exactly why you had to take a break in the first place? Yeah? Yeah. And then once you go ahead and have that written down and figured out and you've thought about it, you've potentially agonized over it, because let's face it, writing is an agonizing process even when you're actively writing. Like, it's just how it is. Now it's time for you to pull out everything that you've written about the whip or whatever you've had planned for the past however many months, and that includes chapters you've written, finished drafts, outlines. If you have an outline or idea that you've written down in chronological order, probably the most helpful out of all this. Characters, any short stories you've written about them, notes or ideas you've jotted down, gather them all up. Do like the Spencer Hastings kind of crazy where you're sitting on the floor and everything's all around you spread out, and now you're gonna read every single last bit. Well, read or skim. You were the one who wrote the stories, wrote the short story, etc., etc., so it's not like a surprise for anything that's written down on paper, but like sometimes you forget. Like, I forget a lot of things that I've written. And the reason for this is just so that way you understand kind of where your brain was at when you finished or you put the whip away. You understand where you are headed, you understand the characters again, because it's like returning to an old friend. You know them fairly well, but there's still some things you're going to forget about, things just going to be missing, things that you would like to inevitably change, or things that you have changed during this little break of yours. So you're going to want to reread through everything or skim. Agonizing, I know, hence why I suggested if you had an outline, your best friend, because then you just go through and skim the outline and then like read like the last couple chapters of like whatever whip you have or short story, and then just go from there. If you have to read an entire novel all over again just to figure out where you were, I'm sorry. Also, have like the deleted tabs, I guess, of like the deleted scenes. Yeah, the deleted scenes open as well, in case you're like, well, where did this go or where did that go? So that way you know, like, oh yeah, I put it away because I had deleted it. I didn't need it, I might need it again. After you're done skimming, you're going to go ahead and write every little change that you want to make down. Now, if you're in the middle of a whip, you probably don't want to implement those changes just quite yet. Like, implement them from where you're writing on, but not where you stopped to before, because then you're just going to get all in your head again about like things need to change, things that were okay, things that weren't great, and that's not good for you. Rule number one of writing is you never look back on your work until you are finished. It's a hard practice to get into, but it helps, it works. It's how I've written 3 drafts so far. You're also going to want to write down how to implement those changes, and then also make notes about areas that you struggled in when you were originally writing this piece of work. Like, was it the character 1, 2, and 3? Was it was there a plot point you were struggling with, some world building aspect? And that's where you go ahead and figure out why those problems are a problem and how you can solve them, what you need to change, why you need to change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if it's the thing that got you to stop writing in the first place, you gotta fix it. You can't avoid it. So you're gonna want to write all those notes down and then set them aside. Set them aside. All the way to the side. Now what you're gonna do is pick up like one of your favorite books in the world. Pick it up, that you love and you adore and you can reread until the sun comes up, and you're gonna open it and start reading. I say a book that you really love and reread because it's familiar. You know what's gonna happen, you know how it makes you feel, nothing's gonna put you in a slump whatsoever or somehow like make you feel, I guess, like kind of crappy about like your own writing style, because these are probably books that you've read that have inspired you to read more or write more, or inspired you to write a story similar to, or these characters you feel, and you need that familiarity so that way you know why you are writing in the first place. A lot of the times when you take a break and you like jump back into it and you're just sitting here like, I don't know what to do with this, I'm a terrible writer, gotta stop. Understanding why you started writing in the first place is probably the best way for you to bring back that motivation to continue writing. It's also really good because sometimes things that you struggle with aren't things that the authors have struggled with. Like one thing I struggle with are fight scenes. So what I like to do is I reread a lot of Cassandra Clare, or like just a lot of books with a lot of that are fight scene heavy, so that way I can understand kind of like the mechanics and the movements of the arms and the legs. I can't kick that high anymore, the legs. There we go. You also find out that I'm wearing pajamas, but it's fine. The legs and like the dodging and the swerving and, you know, all those things which really help, as well as it kind of gets you some inspiration, because like I said, these are the books that probably have inspired you to write, that make you want to be a writer as much as a reader. So it's probably a good thing that you sit down and you read it all. Now you go ahead and write, which is, like I said, is easier said than done, and I'm gonna get into it as to why. Now, since you haven't been writing for a while, I don't know how long a while is for you, but however long it is, I need you to ease yourself into it. I need you to tell yourself, like in your planner, you are going to write at 6:30 p.m. when you get home from work, and you're going to write until 7. Every like once a week at least, to build up that consistency. If you need to, treat it like a treat yourself kind of day. I know it's COVID, but some of us are not in COVID, or some of us are in COVID areas that are a little bit more lax because they're actually doing what they're meant to do. But I would say go to like a coffee shop, treat yourself to a nice hot cup of coffee, a nice croissant, just something that you enjoy and like puts you in a relaxing mood and makes you feel kind of pretentious, especially if you're sitting in a coffee shop writing. Like that's what I do when I can't write. I like go to a coffee shop and I sit down and write because I just feel pretentious being like that writer in a coffee shop, and then people ask me how I wrote the story. I'm gonna be like, yeah, the Barnes and Noble coffee shop, or the indie coffee shop with all the hipsters on the college campus that I used to go to. Or what you could do if you are in a COVID area is get some coffee to go, put a face mask on, put some music on, grab some wine, some of your favorite snacks, and then just like relax. Right, you know, just treat it like a treat. Don't treat it like a chore you have to get done or something you have to do. Find a way to get your brain to stop equalizing, comparing, reducing. Equating. Stop getting your brain to equate writing with like a chore or a struggle, because you have taken a break. Start finding ways to let your brain equate writing with having fun and being relaxed and just getting lost. Scheduling it in could be very important for you if you're that kind of person. Or if you're just gonna write to write, set a timer, because I doubt that your focus is gonna be able to write for 2 hours on end. Probably start it at like 30 minutes once a day and then expand it to an hour, or do an hour with like a 5-minute interval in between each 30 minutes, you know, just set the sprint so that way your brain gets in the habit of writing, and then you can go ahead and expand it and make it longer, and you know, The most helpful tip I can also say is just to be kind with yourself. You have been taking a break for whatever reason. You don't need to be so harsh on yourself, thinking that like, oh yeah, you were able to write this many words in a day and you wrote every single day, every single month somehow. Like, you took a break for a reason. So of course you're not going to be the same level of like, I don't say expertise, but like at that same level. Like with everything that you do and like whatnot, it's a muscle. Writing is very much a muscle. And if you don't do your daily workouts, like, the best way I can say it is like Alicia Vikander from the Lara Croft movie she was in. She said that she was like doing all these workouts and she was so ripped, and then after the movie ended, 3 weeks later, she didn't keep up with the consistent like workouts, the food, and a lot of her muscle definition just went boop. It's the same thing with writing or anything else that you love. If you don't practice it consistently, you're gonna struggle getting back into it. At the end of the day, you're gonna lose a lot of like that discipline that you had. So just be gentle with yourself. Don't think that on the first day back of writing, you're going to be able to write 100,000 words or write consistently for a week. Sometimes like just scheduling in like once a week is probably enough for you right now until you can build it back up again. If writing feels odd to you because of this break, recognize it and then move on. Like I said, it's a muscle. So like if you're working out or whatever you prefer, or like the easiest thing I can say is like working out or even like cooking. If you haven't cooked in a while or worked out in a while, some of the things that like used to feel really natural to you might be a little bit awkward, and that's okay. Just acknowledge the feeling and move on, and know that this odd feeling will eventually go away. And if it still feels odd to you, it might not be you, it might be what you are writing, and maybe there's an awkward point in the writing that you might change and readjust. Hence why we have the outline. Or like you don't have to be a planner to do this. You could be a pantser, but like at least like have like a loose outline of what's going on, so that way you can go back in and be like, this doesn't work, why doesn't it work? And then read through the scenes of that like specific arc. Like reverse outline your shit. Reverse outline your shit. Also be aware that the things that you once loved in your work in progress might not be things you love again. Especially if you're drafting multiple drafts like I am. There are scenes in the WIP that I'm writing that I used to love, absolutely adore, and now that I'm my third, almost fourth draft going in, I'm sitting here like, do we need you? Are you necessary? And like I said, you're gonna have to accept it and move on. You might have to delete, but also put like in a Word doc in the corner, or keep it in an original doc, however you want to do it. You're gonna want to delete things, which is also very part of the process, and that's completely a-okay. Also, be very prepared, because there is a high possibility that your writing style has changed. Like if you're a writer, chances are you're a reader of some kind, whether it's fanfic or nonfiction or fiction or whatever, you're a reader of some kind in some way, shape, or form. So if you were to read a bunch of things while you were on your break, you're going to absorb some of that, and you're going to want to like, not like plagiarize, but like use that as a diving board to grow your own writing style. So it's very possible, but very likely, that your writing style has changed, and if it doesn't fit what you used to write, that's okay. Be kind and just go with the flow of what you are currently writing right now. You can go back and change things later. Keep going. Don't look back unless you're actually just editing. Just go. The next thing is kind of bouncing off of the be kind to yourself scenario, and that is build consistency again. Like I said, a lot of us are pretty much seasoned writers. Seasoned meaning we've been writing a lot consistently for a while. And for whatever reason you took a break, which means you break that consistency. So you do have to pause and get back in the habit of it again. Like I said, scheduling like once a week, building it up to twice a week, to 3 times a week, to every day, building it up from 15 minutes to 30. Just make yourself consistent again and keep to that schedule. And then that might help you build back to consistency. And like going and writing every single time you have the urge to write, or when you want to write, it'll get there. You just have to start building it up again. Again, it's like a muscle. You have to build the muscle again after you don't use it for a while. The last thing is also another important one, and that is don't be afraid to write other things. You took a break from your work for a reason. Whatever that reason is, you might have lack of inspiration going back into it. So if you gotta, do some practicing. You take some of your favorite characters, throw them in a scenario, write a short story about it. Write some fan fiction about your favorite TV show, book, anime, I don't care. Do some journal prompts regarding writing, get like one of those like writing prompt books, and then write some of that. Just go back and write other works. Write the one project you've been thinking about this entire break. Start that and literally clear your head. Clear your head of any ideas, of any blockage, and like just work on other things if that's what'll help you get out of this weird like funk you're in, and help you jump back into whatever work you need, or jump into a new work. Just do things that'll help you not only build up consistency, but then also just get your brain to think and switch back and forth between writing and normal life or reading or whatever brain function it's on. But that is it for my advice video on how to get back after a break. It's a bit more serious than most of my writing advice videos are pretty serious, but I think this one especially because a lot of us, we are in a pandesal, we are in a panini press, So I'm assuming a lot of us have taken breaks from our writing and are probably struggling to get back into it. So hopefully these things have helped you out. But if they haven't, please let me know. Or if you have your own suggestions as to how you get back into writing after a while, leave them in the comments so we can all go ahead and share and make ourselves feel better and give ourselves a lot of options to get back into it. Until next time, hit like, subscribe, comment. All my social media links will be left down below. If you guys want to suggest me any more writing advice videos or any videos in general, until next time, I'm hoping you guys are having a wonderful day. Hopefully these things, tips, tricks help you out, and I can't wait to see what you guys are all writing in the future. Bye.